up, bitches? I'm really hoping that you can hear me over the waves. But it's come to my attention that for people that don't know me that happen upon these videos, they're probably very confused. So I figured, let's yap while I'm at the beach. Before we get started, I'll show you the view. Yep. Here's what we're working with. Okay. Now, also when I have my sunglasses on, I can't see shit. So, there's that. We're just free balling here. Raw dogging, if you will. Anyways, so I figured I'd introduce myself. For those that don't know me, I'm Andi. About 2 years ago, I backpacked Europe for the first time with my friend Caroline. Why am I sparkly? I'm not mad about it, but why am I sparkly? Anyways, I just sparkle, I guess. It's just who I am. Love that. But I backpacked Europe for 4 months with my friend Caroline. We were roommates in Nashville, and we did 16 countries in those 4 months. 2 of my best friends joined me on that trip. What is in the water? Shoes. Okay. That was concerning. But 2 of my best friends met me for the end of the trip. Elizabeth did Greece and Turkey with me, and then Vicky just met us in Turkey. And Caroline went home from Greece. But anyways, I've always loved an adventure and to travel. Sorry, I had to check to make sure I was still in the frame, because I shit you not, I cannot see anything through these. But my prescription's in them, so I can see stuff, I just can't see this stuff. So anyway, you know what? Okay, well, is it going? Yes. Okay, so I checked. You can hear me. But I'll just speak up a little bit just in case. Yeah, you can still see me. So, where was I? I don't know. But look at how fun my nails are. Can you see that? Can you see that? They're like cat eye. My toes match. Anyways, so I've always loved a good adventure. The summer before my senior year of high school, I horse-packed the Grand Tetons in Wyoming for 3 weeks. So I did live in the woods for 3 weeks, and that was a grand old time. Turned 16 in those mountains. And honestly, that trip kind of kick-started a lot for me. You know, when you sit on a horse for 6-7 hours a day, you have a lot of time to think. And in that time to think, I decided I was gonna move in with my dad when I got home. And that decision changed a lot for me. It was my senior year of high school. Moved in with my dad and just had a new kind of freedom. That was a big wave. Anyways, so after that, I decided to go to Boulder for college out in Colorado. Loved it. Fantastic 4 years. However, I feel like I blinked and it was over. So that's insane. A lot of crazy shit happened in college. A lot of crazy shit. But it was a great time. Went to Mexico twice for spring breaks. My sophomore year, I went to Cabo. And my senior year, I went to Cancun. That trip was a shit show. Awful time, honestly. I think I cried every single night I was there. That's what happens when you're friends with girls that don't actually like you or care about you. Anyways, so fast forward, after college, I moved to Nashville for 1.5 years, and I lived with Caroline. And our friend Lillian, she had her own apartment in our building, and then Caroline and I were roommates. And our lease ended early May of 2023, and neither of us got to study abroad in college, but we both really wanted to. So we were like, let's just go backpack Europe. So we did that. We saved up a good chunk of money, and off we went. Caroline is a planner. She's an event planner specifically, but aside from that, she is just like a planner in general. So that was great for me because I'm very much show up and what are we doing? Or, as I am now, figure it out as I go. So, maybe I should take a surf lesson. Anyways, so Caroline, together we kind of decided where we wanted to go, and then kind of like what path we wanted to take, and then Caroline kind of like did the dates, you know, like how long we were going to spend where, and then I'd say we had like the first month of stays booked, like hostel wise and Airbnb. We did a mix, and then we very much did like as we went, just kind of figured it out, and we had a grand old time. I think that trip really did a lot for both of us. For me personally, it was a big like, okay, if I say I want to do something, I can actually do it, you know? And probably one of the coolest moments that I had on that trip was in Turkey. We were in Cappadocia. I totally fucked that up, Cappadocia. And from the start of this trip, I knew I wanted to leave from Turkey because I wanted to do the hot air balloons in Cappadocia. And let me just tell you, that place is unlike any other that I've experienced thus far. The terrain itself, insane. The adventures that they have there, anything you could want. ATVing, camels, horses, hot air balloons, like hiking, tours, super, super cool place full of so much history and just like, it's so cool. Did probably one of the scariest horseback rides I've ever done there. Don't know that I'd recommend that unless you are like a seasoned rider. I mean, obviously they do different levels for sure. But I got in over my head for sure. Anyways, so did that trip, and then obviously spent all my money. So I was like, Dad, I'm moving home. So then I moved back to Orlando, and I've been in Orlando since. Clearly, I'm not there right now, obviously. Let's not look into details now. But I used to hate Orlando. I'll just say it. Hated that place. It used to have the darkest, grayest cloud for me. It was like depression in a place. And one time in college, I was dating this guy. I just won't get into that, just because who knows who's going to see this. Anyways, but I was home for a summer, for a few weeks during the summer, and like when I tell you that I'd go to Orlando and just lay in bed unless I had plans with my friends, like that's it. Like there was no enjoyment of anything there. And so one day he FaceTimes me in the morning before he goes to work, and I was just like watching Game of Thrones, whatever. I was rewatching it, which, mind you, the first time you watch Game of Thrones, so hard to follow, but the second time, way better. Fantastic. Anyways, so he FaceTimes me that morning, whatever. He goes to work, FaceTimes me again, and he goes, "You're still in bed watching Game of Thrones?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I just don't know if I can date a loser." Well, look at me now. Look at me 2 years ago. World traveler. Anyways, yeah. That's something that has stuck with me since. And, I just, like, I don't know. He unfollowed me that summer that I was, backpacking. And I tell myself it's because he just couldn't stand to see me live my best life. Anyways, aside from that, where was I? Oh, Orlando, dark cloud. Right. So, I first moved back in 2023, but like I left with the understanding that I'd be moving back there. And so I was like, you know what? Like, I can make the best of this. Like, it's fine. My friends are here. You know, family started being more important to me. But I feel like that just happens as you get older. Anyway, so I get back to Orlando, and I was having a good time for the most part. You know, like, I couldn't complain. You know, my dad lives in a nice neighborhood on a golf course. We had a housekeeper that came once a week. So, like, I didn't really have much to complain about, aside from the fact that it was far away. Like, Orlando, for those of you that don't know, is huge. Like, just a large, spread out city. And my dad lives down by the airport, and so it would take me at least 30 minutes to get anywhere. Like, if I was, like, going into Winter Park or to, like, see my friends, like, 30 to 40 minutes. Yeah. To see my friends that live over in Windermere, 40, 45. Like, it was a trek. And it wasn't, like, inner city traffic. No, it's, like, at least 20 miles, you know? So, that just, like, was fine until it wasn't. Anyways, so I was living there. And then last summer, I got accepted on my birthright trip. Actually, wait, let me back that up. Spitzer, who you guys have met, we're friends from college, like I have said before. And so, actually, we met through that ex-boyfriend. Anyways, moving on. So, last year, back in, like, I want to say January or February, it was National Margarita Day, actually, is when I applied. I know that specifically because in college, 2019, I broke my teeth. I have 2 fake teeth. These two. I went over my friend's shoulder into a parking lot, ground. Anyways, it was National Margarita Day. That's why that day is significant to me. So he calls me and he's like, I got accepted on my birthright trip. Like, you should see if you can go too. And I was like, say less. Because I had always wanted to go. But I obviously would have preferred to go with a friend. And so when he said he got accepted, I was like, bet. I'll see you there. So I applied. I got accepted. And we went on our birthright trip. Now, was last year a questionable time to go? Probably. Did I do it anyway? Absolutely. I don't know how this wind affects the, oh, we're up close and personal here. Are we zoomed in? No? Okay, we're just up close and personal. I don't know how the wind affects this, but it's windy and it's wavy, so I'm hoping for the best. I hope you guys can hear me. Otherwise, that's going to be really disappointing. Anyways, I digress and we proceed. No, thank you. No. No, thank you. I have had to say no so many times already today. People just, like, come up to you and try to sell you shit, but that's what it is here. How did I have this before? Like that? No. Like this? I don't know. Ooh. I'm, like, sliding down this chair. I forgot to bring a towel. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, okay, birthright. So, I turned 25 last year. I turned 25 or 26 in less than a month this year, and I'm not loving that. But that's a topic for later. Anyways, so right. Birthright ended June 27th last year, and I was like, my birthday is July 1st, for those that don't know. I'm a Cancer. It's the only water in my chart. I take pride in that. The rest is a lot of fire and air. I got a little bit of earth, too. I'd say well-rounded. Fiery for sure, though, and all over the place, but that's a mix of the air and the ADHD. For the astrology people that would like to know, Aquarius moon, Sag rising. Leo Venus, Leo Mercury, Libra Mars, That's questionable, I know. But injustice really does it for me. Hate that shit. Taurus Jupiter, though. So when people fuck me over, they get uglier. And I just get hotter. So, you know, as it goes. Anyways, right. I was like, I'm not going to go spend my 25th birthday in America. Fuck that. Absolutely not. So instead I went on my first solo trip. And originally, that was supposed to be Belgium and then 3 cities in Portugal. I was going to do Lagos down in the Algarve, and then Lisbon and Porto and go home from there. Well, I was having a grand old time in Tel Aviv, and I was like, I'm not ready to leave yet. And one of my childhood friends who I went to school with, her name's Taylor, she lives in Israel now. She lives in Tel Aviv. So I stayed with her for a few more days, and then I went to Portugal. However, this is around the time that all the airlines started having problems or had like the big outage with like the computers and shit. So it took me 32 hours to get where I was going. And all I have to say about that is I hate the Athens airport. Hate it. Shithole. If you haven't been there, you're not missing anything. Hate that airport. And I've talked to many people that have like traveled. It's the consensus everywhere. Everyone hates that airport. It's gross. It's dirty. Doesn't have good vibes. But I digress. So I get to Portugal and I'm down in Lagos for a week. And while I'm down there, I'm like chatting with these guys that rented a car and they were doing, they were doing like a road trip. And I was like, huh. Then I meet this girl and she had rented a little Fiat convertible and we went one night to go to like this little outlook, like this little trail that had gorgeous views, like truly stunning. And I was like, you know, I like this whole convertible thing. And that led to me extending my trip by a week, renting a Mini Cooper convertible, and driving through 3 countries. And did I document it? Not well enough, that's for sure. No. So, no. No. So I definitely didn't document it well enough, but never fear. I rented another Mini Cooper convertible this summer and I will be doing another road trip that will be documented. Anywho, so I pick it up in Faro, which is also down in the Algarve, like South Portugal, and I drive through Spain. I did Seville, Malaga, Valencia, and then I had done Barcelona before, so I skipped over that and went to Andorra. And Andorra is kind of what like prompted this trip, because I have this hobby where I like to browse the map and just kind of like see what's what, you know? And I happened upon this little tiny country and I was like, what is that? I have to know. And boy, did I find out. Stunning. Gorgeous. I'm obsessed with that country. The best way I can put it is it's a teeny tiny Switzerland vibe, but not. It sits in the Pyrenees Mountains in between Spain and France, and you can drive from one end to the other in about 2 hours max, if that. I stayed at the only 5-star hotel there because it was like $200 a night. It was my vacation from my trip, because a trip and a vacation are 2 very different things, and I don't know if enough people realize that. A trip, you're go, 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 you're doing shit. A vacation, you're lounging. You might do a few excursions, but for the most part, you're relaxing. Okay? Anyways, moving on. So, after, I wonder if this helps, like if I cover that, if it blocks the wind a little bit, is that the mic? I don't know. Anyways, so, yeah, I'm still in it. I'm sweating though, like real bad. Okay, so I leave Andorra and I do Zaragoza and I do Madrid. Madrid has weird vibes. I don't know if I like that city, but I also had like a weird experience there. Didn't love it. So afterwards, I drive to Porto in Portugal, and then I went home. Fantastic. That trip was incredible. It was about 6 weeks total. I love this wind for me, but I fear I hate it for this camera. Like, I feel like when I play this back, it's just going to be like the whatever wind sound. That was my best interpretation of that. Don't quote me on it. Anyways, so I get home, and I was in therapy one day, because everyone should go to therapy. Even if you think you have no problems, go to therapy. It changes lives. Anyways, so my therapist, who, mind you, I've had since 2020 was the first time I saw her, and it was like on and off. Anyways, but I've been going to her consistently since 2023 now. Question mark? Yes. Yes. So, I'm in therapy one day, and she's like, okay, let's have a harsh look. And I was like, oh no. And the harsh look was the fact that 2023, whatever month it was, August, let's say. No, because I wasn't home then. Maybe it was like September we looked at it. The details don't matter. The point was that a year ago versus where I was at that year, no real difference. Yeah, I had gone on this trip, but there was no progress in my career. I was still living at home. I wasn't really like, I mean, I had been working at a restaurant, so I had money saved for this trip I did, but like, you know, and that was a slap in the face. I hated that. So, within a few weeks, I had launched my blog. Check it out, adventurewithandi.com. I had gotten an apartment. Actually, yeah. I decided, I was like, well, that kind of came after I went to Nashville, but the details, again, don't matter. I decided I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't live at home, because if you look at my first Yap Sesh video, I talk about, like, living at home at, like, 24, 25, and, like, what that does for a mental type of deal, and, like, how are you supposed to feel like an adult when you're still in your childhood home? That whole thing. So, I moved out, and I knew I was only going to have this apartment for, like, 7 months, because I had this trip planned. Oh, let me back up. When I was in Spain, I was about to go to dinner, and it was actually like a dinner date. Anyways, that was fun. But I was scrolling on Instagram, and I happened across this thing called the Lux Week, and I was like, oh, that looks enticing. Well, I ended up booking it that day, and that's why I'm in Bali right now. That's what spurred this whole trip. I was like, I got a year, I'll figure it out. And I had really been wanting to do Southeast Asia. Mind you, is it what I thought it would be? Thailand? No, to be honest. I overall was slightly underwhelmed by Thailand. It's the wind. It's a super cool place. I did like it, but I think it's a place that kind of sets you up to be underwhelmed. In the sense that I think people see Thailand on social media, and it's literally one of those, like, maybe that's what that thing is for. I have this, like, fluffy thing that goes over the over the microphone. That's definitely okay, well, now we know. Does this do anything? I won't know till later. But I guess we can come closer. Is this just too much? I don't know. I also fear that I look like a wet dog right now. I'm watching a plane land. Okay, wind is chilled. Okay. So I booked that trip, Thailand. Underwhelming though, because you see like all these beautiful places on Instagram, and yes, those exist. They're real. But the majority of the country does not look like that. And you can tell like which places are built for tourists specifically. You know, like it'll be a lot, and I understand. Old region, old country, a lot of history, but it'll be like rundown building, rundown building, rundown building, nice building, rundown building, rundown building, and everything's kind of like on top of each other. And don't even get me started on stomach stuff, because just find out for yourself. I don't have to tell you. Just come and find out for yourself. 0 out of 10, that part. So here I am in Bali. I kind of lost what I was meaning to get at with all of this, to be honest. But I think you guys get the point. I like to go places. I like to travel. Right. But my trip last summer is kind of what led me to believe that I could do this. And it's not that I can't do this. Obviously, I am doing it. Here I am, literally on the beach in Bali. But obviously I haven't been in Bali long enough yet to know if I like it. But so far, I think I'm a Europe girly over Southeast Asia. It's a completely different beast. And there's definitely nice ways to do it. When my boyfriend comes, we're staying at 2 super nice hotels. Super excited for that. They look stunning. But I also just kind of feel my age more, which I hate to say. But like, I don't really care to stay in hostels and go out and drink, and maybe it's part of the fact that I have a boyfriend. And so, like, what would the point be? You know, like, go and look, but don't touch. Obviously, babe, when you watch this, obviously not going to touch. But it's like, why would I go to a hostel where, like, everyone's single? I've stayed in hostels. I know what the vibe is. I know what the gist is of being there. I've had my fun. Don't get me wrong. But it's like, that's just not the wavelength I'm on anymore. And so I booked a wellness retreat yesterday, and honestly, I am so excited for it. I leave tomorrow, or I get picked up for it tomorrow, and it's like 6 days. It's yoga and soul healing, whatever that entails. But that's my shindig these days. Does saying shindig age me? I don't know. I'm going to choose to not analyze that. Also, I think this water gets deep real quick. Or these people are just, like, submerging themselves. I don't know. Okay. It doesn't get that deep that fast. I lied. He stood up. But that's, like, the vibe I'm on these days. I don't really care to, like... this is going to sound bad, but, like, I don't care to socialize with these people, because typically, like, they're younger, you know? Like, even last year when I was turning 25, I was on the older side of people staying in hostels. And in Asia, so far, from the hostels we have stayed at, because Spitzer and I stayed at them, he loves them, it's just not my vibe anymore. They're all, like, 19, 20, 21, and I'm like, you know, in my head, I feel like I'm still that young, but, like, I'm not. No. I don't want to go out every night. I don't want to drink all the time. I don't want to black out. I already did that once this trip, and it didn't go well. Not that it didn't go well, but, like, I don't like doing that anymore. Like, I don't like not remembering what I've been up to, you know? We're almost 30 minutes into this yap. Here we go. I've been having fun. Have you? leave a comment. That's so weird for me to say. Still getting the hang of this whole thing. I'm kind of treating it like my private Snapchat story that I've had since high school, Andi's World, which is where this channel gets its name from. The way that I have yapped to people for years and years and years, decided it's probably time to try to monetize that, I suppose. But also, like, at the end of the day, if no one sees this shit, at least my adventures are documented for me. You know, like, I can go back and watch these. Also, I'm really hoping I get some good color today. I'm going to the spa later, too. But, yeah, I feel my age. My body hurts. I did something weird in my sleep the other night. And, also, I swear to God, I'm sliding down this. Like, I keep lifting myself up, but I keep sliding down. I should have brought a towel, but I didn't. Can we see me? Yeah. So, I don't know. That's just kind of the rundown. Again, I'm Andi. I'm in Asia. And I don't like to admit this, but I fear I overestimated how much I would enjoy this. And I have contemplated leaving early and just heading to Europe early. Oh, right. I should tell you about the rest of my trip. So, I'm in a wedding in France. I'm a bridesmaid for my two dear friends, Kellyanne and Kenzie. Well, I'm her bridesmaid, but it's their wedding. I went to high school with Kellyanne. I've gone to school with him since I think like 7th grade is when he came to Lake Highland. And he's French, like his whole family. Well, his mom is Danish, but I love Pia. Shout out Pia. But anyways, that's why they're getting married in France. And when I tell you this wedding is going to be legendary, take that at face value. It's going to be legendary. But anyways, Callie and I used to hate each other in high school, but we're buddies now. And I was actually there the day that him and Kenzie met for the first time. And that girl, I love her. Kenzie, if you watch this, I fucking love you. And they know this. Like, I am so happy that they found each other in this life. Like, they are a couple that I have looked to as, like, inspiration of what a healthy relationship should look like. I have one of my own now, but that's because I wasn't going to settle for anything. Like, I was not going to date a man again unless I knew that it was, like, everything I could want and more. And my boyfriend is that. He's fantastic. I love him. Love him bad. But anyways, so I'm in that wedding. He's not my plus one, though, to this wedding because I'm taking my friend Molly because I had invited her way before this man was even, like, a blip on the radar. Mind you, my boyfriend and I went to high school together, too. But hated him. Love you now, though, babe. But anyways, so yes, Molly's my plus one, so that's why I'm gonna be in Europe. No, thank you. So no. So yes, originally my flight is it's out of Bangkok to Paris at the end of August, but I don't know that I want to be in Bali until then, honestly. This whole, like, stomach thing, if that gets better, that might change my opinion on staying here longer. But, like, I don't know. I love Europe. I really do. And my best friend Vicky, shout out you when you watch this, she was, like, contemplating coming to meet me in Bali for a little bit, but if I'm in Europe, it's even more enticing for her to come meet me because way easier, you know. Ow, this thing is getting really hot. Like, I really wish I had brought a towel, but I, like, just don't want to give in and buy from one of these hecklers. Like, I understand that that's their job, but, like, I just hate that shit. Anyways, that's a crazy leg sleeve. but I'm getting quite toasty. I need a flip soon. Maybe we do that. Should we try to flip? I don't know. I'm gonna lose my train of thought. But anyway, so I'm gonna be in Europe, and after the wedding, I'm going to Milan to pick up my Mini Cooper, and then I'm doing the Dolomites. And when I tell you, I am so excited. Like, now that's something that I feel like I am gonna have to book in advance, because the Dolomites are expensive, they're popular, they book up. So I feel like I need to start looking into that to book some hotels, because over here, quite literally, I've been buying flights the day before. And you can do that in Europe too. But I feel like for the Dolomites, I need to plan that a little bit better. And then I will go meet my boyfriend in Switzerland. And we're gonna do that for a few days. And then we'll drive to Germany. We're gonna go to Munich for Oktoberfest, which has been on my bucket list. I am so excited to do that. Caroline is gonna be doing that with me as well. And then like some of my boyfriend's friends from high school who obviously I know as well. So we'll see how that goes. But that's the trip as of now. But if I go early to Europe, Caroline's also going to be over there. So we might do like Austria and Budapest. And then I want to do Poland just because my family's from there. And just like get some more countries checked off, because I'm not getting as many countries over here as I thought I would. I might do Singapore while I'm here, just because it's close by and like a cool place that I do want to check out. But I do that after I check into my villa. And you only need like, you only need like 3 or 4 days from what I understand there. I'm hungry, I need to eat soon. It's rumbling. Gotta feed the beast, as my boyfriend and I like to say. I get hangry. I'm not really the nicest when I'm hungry, but like what girl is? Too bright, back on. Do I look crazy right now, you guys? I don't know. Do you guys want to see my fake Prada hat that I bought? The only fake Prada thing that I own. Is it cute? Double Prada'd up on a, what is it today? Sunday? Monday? I don't know. That's above my pay grade. I'm on an adventure. I don't need to know. I guess I don't need these if I have this, right? Yeah. So I guess that's the app. I'll let you guys, yeah, I guess that's a little bit about me. Covers the bases, I'd say, and then some, for sure. But I'll let you guys know if I end up deciding to go to Europe. I'm gonna look into that today. It kind of just, it's like, I don't want to make a decision yet, but I already messaged my Airbnb lady asking if I could change the dates of my villa, and she said she would approve it, and I told her I'd look into it today, but like, I don't want to make that choice and then regret it, you know? But, yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for joining. I hope you enjoyed this yap sesh as much as I did, and let's yap soon, yeah? Toodaloo, till the next time.